Hey everyone, I'm Egoqueenalexis and welcome back to the channel. And today we are playing some, I almost said Rogue Trader. We are back
Uh,
playing some Dark Heresy. In the last episode, nothing really happened. But with a proper recap, I'm just kidding. With a proper recap, here's Vicky the GM.
oh, that feeling when you want to play Dark Heresy and end up playing Rogue Trader. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I am Vicky the GM, and welcome back to the Queen's Court. When we last left our hero, rushing towards the corpse hold where Amma was making his desperate last stand to shield Thea, the warband made it just in time to see a horde of gibbering demons surround the two. Fighting with all their might, the Neverborn seemed endless, and when... Wait a minute. And when one was struck down, two took its place. Rosalina entered the whirl of melee, as her world became an endless succession of parries, riposts, and counterattacks. Larizion ran past the demonic hordes to assist Amma, but his guardian entity had other ideas. Tarvok, who arrived mere moments later, unleashed the wrath of Mars as a prodigious arsenal was brought to bear. Thalia unleashed her recently enhanced psychic potential as bolts of etheric energy sent demons screaming back into the Sea of Souls. However, the silvered surfaces of this mindscape of the warp showed Thalia just how desperate the fight for the Oath Unspoken was, as she saw that Heresy led a desperate defense of his mighty vessel. Struck by fear of loss, Thalia ran out of the corpse hole to find her beloved. Rosalina dispatched Tarvok to fetch the good doctor, while she rushed into the group of demons that overwhelmed Amma. Now, only Rosalina stood before Thea in certain doom. Readying sacrifice, Rosalina rent demonic flesh with ease, but their numbers were too great, as Rosalina was cut down by demonic claws. As darkness threatened to swallow her, Thea let out a cry of desperation, and a brilliant burst of light exploded from the peasant girl, sending the remaining Neverborn back to the abyss and banishing the silvered side realm they had been trapped in. As Rosalina and Alma lay dead on the floor of the corpse hold, Thea's tear ran freely from her cheeks, but as they landed on the stricken pair, they gasped back to life. Rosalina managed to speak only a few words before passing out. She reawoke in the Medicae ward of the Oath Unspoken, the smell of contraceptic heavy in the air, the beeping of diagnostic equipment a constant companion. But it was the humanoid figure at her side that caught her eye.
And I'm assuming we're back?
Yeah, this was the recap linking straight into the episode.
I'm gonna, I guess, roll an awareness test just to check. Make sure I'm right.
Nice.
I'm just gonna look
As
over and just smile.
as Rosalina reawakens, her sight comes slowly into focus, and she can see the Medicae staff of the Oath Unspoken as they move about. It seems that the ward has recently been filled by those injured in the recent attack, and it is a it is a it is a mess to behold as orderlies and Medicae rush about, cleaning up the stricken armsmen of the ship. However, as she looks from side to side, on her left is the diagnostic equipment as it beeps and whirs, but to her right, sitting on a nearby chair, she can see the lithe form of Morano.
Marno, you came here?
You see Morano startle as you see her opening her eyes, and she says, "Yes, I was just meditating.
You were worried.
I was keeping you company. You asked me to watch over you while you slept once, and I thought I could do it again."
At that, I'm just gonna have, like... I'm just gonna smile softly and just look at her. And look at my wound. Well, what should be a wound.
Indeed, as your hand reaches where the giant opening in your chest should have been, you find that it is that there's a massive knot of scar tissue that seems to have closed the wound, and it even looks old.
Am I actually in like a hospital gown or anything?
Yes, you are.
So I'm assuming I had to open it to look at the wound itself.
Yes, you had to move your hand about a bit to actually find it.
Marno, would you do me the favor of returning me to my room?
I don't know if I can, and she looks about. I think that the orderlies and Medicae wouldn't want you moving. They seem to want to keep an eye on you.
Yeah, that's probably for the best. Stay by my side, please.
I will. Just continue resting. It is good for you, I hear. Apparently humans heal when they rest.
And with that, I'm just going to slip back into unconsciousness. Oh, nope. Nope, I already said it. It's good.
Yeah? Alrighty. So, with that, we're actually going to jump cut straight over to... Actually, Knight, I know you had a scene. Does... Mope, do you have anything you wanted to specifically do before the story moves on?
I believe that I wanted to go see Tarvok at some...
Ah. Alrighty. That's actually perfect. Because... as Thalia makes her way to the archives of the Oath Unspoken, she can hear what appears to be a hum of power buildup and a quick zapping sound as you hear you recognize the sound being that of power field discharge.
So I hear a power field discharge as I approach Tarvok?
As you approach the archives, you are currently outside of them.
Oh. I don't know what he's up to, but I'll assume it's him. I'll just send the notification that I'm...
As Tarvok receives the notification, he looks at the door, and after a quick binary ping, it slides open. As you walk into the room, Tarvok is working miraculously on a bunch of pillars in the room, each connected by a few feet apart, and between them lights a force field, a barrier as it kind of crackles with energy, giving the room a slight blue hue. And as Tarvok sees you walk in, he puts down his combi tool and kind of gives you a polite bow. Ah, Polonia. Good to see you. I hope you're faring well. How's the captain?
Oh, he's fine, thank goodness. But that isn't what I came here to discuss. How are you doing?
Oh, well, I'm making myself as useful as I can be, doing research on symbology, actually. After witnessing the machinations of the war that we had to deal with earlier, I've become more fascinated in symbols, as, for example, that creature that had a crescent-shaped moon for a face. There's always a meaning behind it, and you see with one of his other sets of hands, he's flipping through a book very rapidly.
I'll raise an eyebrow before moving to sit down and say, well, I never much considered it.
And
They always just seem so real and literal to me. I never thought to look beyond that.
Everything is made up of symbols, dearest Polonia, and they all mean something. The two-headed Aquila of the Imperium, the cog and skull of the Mechanicus. Everything has a meaning, and it is up to people like ourselves to decipher them, as he kind of places another book. With that, he will kind of walk over and say, could I get you some refreshments, something to eat or drink?
Oh, just some water. I don't have much of an appetite.
It's fluoride flavored.
No.
Give me some fluoride, fructose crack. But anyway.
Ugh.
Hold on. Just to
Yuck.
check. The water is indeed fluoride free.
Indeed, his...
Wait, you're telling me that Tarvok does the simple process of distilling his water?
It's actually not distilled. He distills his water before he mixes, before he turns it into recaf. This time he just doesn't turn it into recaf.
Indeed. And he places the small tin cup in front of you.
Well, Tarvok, there's something I have to bring up to you, and I'm not even sure how to get to the topic.
With that, Tarvok will hold up one finger, and in an instant the door shuts, and you can hear the locking mechanism click and clack as it bolts itself.
She looks around a bit scared, and then looks back at Tarvok and says, we're not being recorded or taped, are we?
With that, you will
Start
see
sweating.
with that, he will his eye will kind of glow green a bit, and you will see the sound of machines deactivating and the scurrying of rats as they remove themselves from the premises. And you see him with a sudden motion. His bionic eye goes dark, but he nods. We may speak in confidence.
If I told you something and you had to keep it a secret from everyone, could I trust you?
With this, he looks around. He points to his bookcase on his back, specifically to tomes that you remember were from the, what was that family related to the Nurgle incident?
That would be the Thane family.
Yes,
I'll type the name into chat.
pointing specifically at the books related to the Thane incident.
That's how it's spelled.
Thane, thank you.
Yes.
And say, I keep secrets because they are dangerous. You have my word.
Tarvok, I have a friend. And if you can understand my paranoia, and I'm gonna reach up and touch the tip of my ears and say, you can understand after the past I've had while I'm a little afraid to bring this kind of thing to light, but I have a friend, and if everyone knew about him, it would put me in danger. But now it's a little bit different, because now if people knew about him, it wouldn't just put me in danger, and I'm going to look up at Tarvok seeking for some sort of understanding. It would also put my family at danger.
At this, his eye shoots back a bright crimson red. Obviously, this has upset him, and he kind of his grip on the table kind of starts pressing into the wood, leaving indents, and he says, "What is going on?"
Um, well, when when I bring you my friend, you can go ahead and try to figure that out, because I certainly haven't. I just ask that you don't do anything that would bother or hurt him.
If that is your request, then I will see it done to the best of my ability.
Right, my friend. It's... Oh, it's, I think I should just bring him to you. But, Tarvok, you can't tell anyone about this.
He said, and with that, he nods and kind of sips his mug of recaf and he places one of his mechanical arms onto his chin, tapping it. He says, "If you feel that it will assist you, and if you feel like it is for the safety of your family, then I will see it done."
Right. Sometimes I might need to come see him again. I understand if it takes you some time because of whatever secrecy you're going to have to put in place. But sometimes I will want to see him again.
With saying it like this, he raises his eyebrow and says, "Of course." And with that, he's very, very curious.
I don't actually think I would have brought Candle with me at that point, so we'd have to bring it to you at a different...
You can bring it later.
Yeah.
So, actually, at this point, Theta-01 actually speaks up and says, "Arch Fabricator, field wall generator ready for second field test."
And with that, he smiles and says, "Not just yet, Theta-01. I have a brilliant idea." And with that, he kind of has a flourish. But before he says anything, he looks at Polonia and says, "Hold still for one moment, okay?"
I'll do so.
With that, he snaps his fingers and the kind of rats return to their normal positions, and you see the what you can guess is the pictograph or pict recorder coming back online, and his mood almost changes immediately, kind of in a smile with his arms waving flamboyantly, and says, "And that's how children are made, how born in the Mechanicus. If you have any questions about paternity, I'm sure I could help you." With that, he gives her a wink with his good non-mechanical eye.
I'll nod back at you and say, it's just interesting how you incubate them after cloning them. It's much different than what I expected.
He makes sure to get the data, the recordings on that, just in case of questioning. And he says, "But I will see you soon for brunch."
Right. It's still interesting though. Medicaid things are very strange like that. Patients can be so individually interesting too. I guess you don't really have to deal with that in the Mechanicus though.
Replacement. Augmentation. It all has its places.
It's rather impersonal.
Unless you make it so. And with that, he kind of holds out one of his arms, and says, "There's almost something ethereal about it. To know that this is my arm, it belongs to me, but I can make it whatever I want." He kind of runs his finger down the synth muscle and says, "I could be stronger, quicker, more than I ever could have been when I joined this organization."
Well, I mean, you can say that, but in reality, is that really your arm? Does it have your genetic material? I guess that's what makes this so interesting. I guess that's what makes the flesh sacred, really. Well, just the other day, I was telling Larician that if he wanted to, I could fix a birthmark of his. He claimed it was a scar, but it wasn't. I didn't appreciate it then, but this puts it in a new light. Because that really is what he was, you know, born as. It's sacred in a way. I guess I'll look down at the floor and kind of tilt my head to the side. Maybe it's religious.
Knight, roll for me a Scholastic Lore Legends.
Scholastic Lore Legends.
Nailed it. This brings to mind an ancient Terran myth about the man named Theseus and his boat.
Hey, nice reference.
The concept goes thusly that slowly but surely Theseus replaced every part of his boat, meaning begging the question whether the boat is still his, or has it become something different. You find a bunch of historical references where people have argued upside and down, any which way, and no one seems to be able to agree on anything. Nothing changes then.
And thus the answer lies with the beholder. And with that, Tarvok will actually smile and say, "You said it might have been religious. Do you know what sect he comes from?"
No, I don't have a clue. All I really know is that he lied to me about it. I don't know why.
At this, Tarvok kind of frowns and says, "He lied. That's unlike him. He's always been an honest companion to me." And he says this with sincerity.
I'll look back at you and just kind of shake my head, just a little puzzled, and say, "I don't know. You said it was a scar, but I can tell you right now that it wasn't."
With this, his eye goes blue as he quizzes. He's like, Odd indeed. Odd indeed." And he kind of looks and says, Nooble,
Yes.
I'll ask you this since during the time of Tarvok and him being together, was Larissan ever considered religious? Did he ever explain any form of besides the base that all Imperial systems had, was he ever particularly pious?
At first, yeah. When Tarvok first met him, yeah, he would have been.
So what you're trying to figure out, Knight, is if it held any religious significance.
Well, I was just saying if having you wouldn't see an atheist walking around with a cross that says "God bless" on it.
True.
I keep a cross in my car.
Right, but I'm saying is I wanted to ascertain if if calling it a religious mark would have been abnormal for him.
Probably not. Seeing how the hundreds, if not thousands, of different variations of the Imperial Creed exist, then self-mortification is probably a very common one.
That's why I asked.
Yeah. If it's a reasonable conclusion to reach, but whether it is true or not, that's a different matter.
But we know it's not a scar.
Fair enough. So it
And
is
with
something else then.
Kind of becoming curious and more curious about this, and kind of playing into his current research. He smiles and says, he kind of hands you a sheaf of paper from his. Do you remember what the design looked like? We could probably learn more about his planet's, what's it called? His planet's religious sect, and he kind of pulls out his book. He pulls out two books. He pulls out a book on Imperial septs, the different variations, and he brings out his rating tattoos for the unfamiliar.
I look down and I think for a few moments and I go, oh, I think it looked... Gosh, it almost looked like a moon, except the top of it was a little messed up. Then there was a bulge, like here, towards the center.
And with that, Hill, Victor, do I see any cross-references in my books?
Nothing that immediately comes to mind. However, if it is a personal mark of his that he may have branded himself, it might hold some rather, what's the word I'm looking for? I was trying to think of a different word than personal, but let's just use that for now. It might hold some distinct and personal significance to him.
Indeed. Victor, could I roll an inquiry using intelligence just to see if I could, because even if it for example, if she said a moon shape, like a moon usually means something, and I can cross-reference that with his home part.
Usually, you can see if you can find any information on that in any of your books.
So what would that be? What is the skill to research?
It would be, yes, inquiry through intelligence, since you're looking through books.
Oof.
Ooh.
I'm
Ah,
not
there you
starting
go.
this game. I'm not starting this game on 80s.
Ha. So, as you flip through your various books, you are able to find a quick reference to to a small sect on the world of Yakabal, which seems to revere the planet's many moons. And maybe, just maybe, it has something to do with that. Although, without asking Libercian himself, there's no way of confirming.
With that, he'll kind of raise that conclusion and smile, offering to refill your water.
I'll nod and say, I guess individual patients can just be so finicky. But it does beg the question of, if you just control a machine, is it really part of you?
And with that, he kind of mutters something in binary, and to that he says, and unfortunately, my dear Splonia, that is why there is a separation and a divide between the Imperium of Man and the Mechanicus of Mars.
I'll take a sip from the water and shrug and... I suppose... It's just... I suppose I look at things differently now. The biological components seem so much more important than they used to. Something to do with the mind's eye.
Have I ever told you what happens to a tech priest who takes it too far?
I'll look up curious and shake my head. No.
There comes a point, and they teach this on Mars, that while it is important to replace your flesh to become stronger and become more with the Omnissiah, there are those who take it and who lose their ability to be human, and with that they become abominable intelligences controlled by nothing but well, nothing is left of the person that was.
I'll look down contemplating what that means and blink a few times then look back up. So... it becomes a real, true abomination.
It becomes a machine with no biological components, yes.
A thinking machine.
Indeed. But the soul of a man... the soul of a man had departed from the body.
I'll sip the water again and say, you're definitely right about the need for a divide between us, but such a thing poses a danger to both of us.
Indeed. That is why I will never replace my brain completely.
There are other things some people might say are vital to to your true essence. Things like your major organs, your limbs.
Supposedly, and that is where a divide and debate is left for the scholars, I suppose.
I guess you're right.
He nods, and as he kind of puts his stuff back together, he says, I wouldn't... Thank you for stopping by, though. I would not wish to take time away from you and Aristide. I am glad to see that he had survived the encounter. Although, with that, before he kind of stops for a moment, I feel like we're ignoring the amble in the room.
What do you mean?
What happened in there? My scanners were showing that their bodies, Amma and Rosalind's bodies, were slowly fading, and yet, in a blinding light, they were revitalized.
I'll look off in contemplation for a moment, look to the side, and I'll put my hand against the wall and then look back at you and say, after we've seen literal demons, is the existence of angels so hard to believe?
Victor, can I roll Forbidden Lore Demonology to kind of ascertain what the hell actually happened down there?
Yeah, and roll for me. See what best thing to roll. It would.
Sorry.
Well, that kinda actually work.
Well, like, 'cause he doesn't know if it was the doing of the demons or what it was, or the warp. I guess it'd be Forbidden Lore Warp, wouldn't it?
It would, however, I'll actually let you pick between Forbidden Lore Warp and actually, do you have anything else that would be closer?
Warp, Mutants, Heresy, Rackpool.
You don't actually have
Cool.
what I'm looking for, which is either Scholastic Lore Ecclesiarchy or
Wait,
Imperial Creed.
I have Scholastic Lore, Ecclesiarchy, and Imperial Creed.
Yeah, you do, but you don't have, like, you have a better shot at making the other one. So I'll tell you this.
Victor, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, I rolled a 42.
Yeah?
I get a plus 40 on all lore tests.
True. That is fair enough. So yes, a 42 is enough to make what you're looking for, seeing how you have a gigantic breadth of knowledge to pull from. So, this, well, for all intents and purposes, seems to have been a manifestation of an Imperial Saint, which is not that unusual, strangely enough, and they are most assuredly real.
Most
Whatever
famous
it
being
is.
Celestine.
Yeah, and it seems that, well, Taya has been chosen by the Emperor to, as a vessel for his power, or conduit, rather.
Alright, my last little thing on this kind of explication. Can I look back of recorded origins of other saints to see if this is... Because in Tarvok's mind, the idea of a saint they would be... Like he thinks to, what's his name, Macarian?
Macarian.
Yeah, and like in Macarian, you think of, angels, clad in armor, who
I-
know what they're doing.
Don't think Macarian was actually canonized until he died.
Well, I mean, we're about to enter the next millennium. Is he dead by now?
Yes, he's been
Oh,
dead
yeah,
for quite a
he's
few hundred
long.
years.
Yeah, like the Macarian Crusades takes place like several hundred years before this, and he's long dead.
Right. So, I just want to kind of like do I guess, scholastic lore.
Ecclesiarchy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, boom. So, as you rummix in your brain database, you find that although it is more common that say soldiers and frontline troops be blessed with the Emperor's touch of sainthood, it is not unheard of that the more humble folk of the Emperor's domain be selected for such a grand purpose. In fact, Saint Sabbath of the Sabbath worlds, which are named after her, she was also just a rural preacher girl. Although she was a bit more active, and she also, well, she died and got resurrected, unlike Taya, who, as far as you know, hasn't.
Tarvok will kind of shake his head and look back to Apollonia, who I'm sure is kind of just staring at him, wondering why he's just sitting there in silence.
I mean, I imagine since you probably think at a faster rate, it wouldn't have been that.
Well, there's probably modem noises going on.
And with that, he kind of pulls himself out of thought and says, "Oh, sorry. It is quite an interesting place we're going. Interesting situation we find ourselves in. Although," and he actually frowns and looks and says, "That reminds me, I'm concerned about our current destination. Because we know that there's like a sister battle monastery on the planet, right?"
Well, there's a convent of sisters known as the Order of the Shining Blade.
Tarvok looks at her and says, "Alright, I know I said last lore check, but can I do a Scholastic Lore Adeptus Sororitas to see if they're just going to like look at our leader and Polonia and just immediately?" Because remember, his only real like display with sisters was when Roseless kicked down the door and started sword fighting Rosalina.
Oh yeah, that was a thing. So yeah, roll for me. Roll a d100. You fail on a 10% chance. Yeah, you're fine. So as you shift through what little you have on hand about Osuar, you know that actually, let me just, this seems like book info, so let me just hand it over. Here we go. As the key ecclesiarchy holding in the sector, it is no surprise that Osuar is home to a convent of Sisters of Battle of the Adeptus Sororitas. Canoness Lyona leads more than 300 battle sisters of the Order of the Shining Blade, who stand ready to defend the Shrine World against any threat. At any time, sisters of the Order are spread across Osuar, watching over pilgrims and guarding shrines, resplendent in their white and gold armor. The site of the convent adjoins the Mausoleum of Remembrance, and one of the sisters' primary duties is guarding the mausoleum and shepherding pilgrims through its grand corridors. Let's see. At the behest of Osuar's Archcardinal, the Battle Sisters of the Shining Blade have participated in numerous actions across Ascalon in the millennia since the Order's founding as successors of the Order of the Ebon Chalice. Squads of Battle Sisters have fought heresy and insurrection as far afield as Dysolium and Cell. Cell is where ratlings are. Such deployments are typically in response to requests from other dioceses? Yeah. It's a diocese. Yeah. But some actions, such as the quelling of Hive Zusum, have been at the behest of the Adeptus Administratum. Hive Zusum is one of the lesser hives on Dysolium, not the main one. So, there you go. A nice lore dump for a lore test.
Right, but that did not answer my question.
Well, unfortunately, you have no way of knowing unless the sisters have psychers in their midst that can tell you that Rosalina and Polonia are psychic. That, no, there's no way for them to just blast them down without cause.
With that, Tarvok satisfied and says, I think we will be safe. I know Rosalina wishes very much to commune with the sisters, and perhaps the assets gained from this could be useful in our future endeavors.
Possibly.
Speaking of Rosalina, I hope she's faring well.
Well, the last time I checked up on her, she was resting. She seems to be healing fine. I'm not surprised. She has quite the willpower.
Indeed. And with that,
Speaking of which, oh, go ahead, Knight.
okay, I
finish
was just concluding the scene.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Speaking of Rosalina, as we jump cut back towards the Medicaid ward, Rosalina awakes with a stir as she sees the black robe and unhooded man she knows to be the seneschal of the Oath Unspoken, who gently clears his throat to get Rosalina's attention.
I'm gonna slowly look at him. What is it?
Lady Lockwood, I am here on behalf of Aristide Ansifor, who wishes your presence in his stateroom. He realizes the ordeal you have just gone through, but he has been quite persistent in summoning you.
I'm gonna look around and, do I see Mar now?
She seems to have either walked off or is in a slightly out of sight.
Well, it's about time that I'm done with my rest. Let's get back to it. Get me out of here.
Of course. Your personal belongings will be brought forthwith. And he snaps his fingers, and a group of orderlies brings your war gear. And the seneschal turns back and says, Lord Captain will be waiting in his quarters. He will be expecting you.
Very well. I'm gonna derobe and start putting on the dress, which is mesh lace, so it actually has a clang when it goes on, and start clipping everything into place before putting
Indeed.
sacrifice on my side.
You see that your dress seems to have been quite expertly repaired in the time that you were out.
Who did the repairs on this?
Are you asking anyone in particular?
I'm asking the seneschal.
He was about to turn to leave, but he turns back and says, I believe it was one of the armory serfs. I'm sure that she has experience with mesh armor, seeing how the upper echelon of the command crew is quite favors that piece of war gear.
Well, she did a good job.
I will relay your compliment.
Thank you. And as I get up, do I feel any pain or anything?
You feel a slight stiffness, but nothing else. The scar tissue along your chest seems to be a slight discomfort, but other than that, you feel great. As though you feel, well, cleansed almost.
I'm gonna start heading towards my room first.
Indeed. So, you arrive at your room, and you see that Riza is currently is sitting on your bed with the Archaeotech Loudhailer next to her.
I'm assuming she's eating potato chips. Playing them
Being
video games.
Being
Listening.
a damn game gremlin.
Listening to that rap music. No, I'm gonna walk in and just be like, thank the Emperor. Riza.
And with that, Riza picks up the Loudhailer and engages the anti-grav motor.
That won't be necessary, Riza. Just come with me. And I'm gonna signal to her to put down the Loudhailer.
And she does, and then hovers next to your side.
But I am gonna grab Lioness and put that one on my side as well. Alright. Let's go see what the captain wants, shall we, Riza?
Riza gives Riza moves her head, which over the years you've come to recognize as her attempt at a nod.
I'm gonna give her a hug and then start moving towards the captain's quarters.
Indeed. You arrive in the captain's quarters, and you can see that when you enter that the Lord Captain seems to have been pacing back and forth, and when you finally arrive, he turns to you with his hands crossed behind his back and says, "Ah, Rosalina, so glad you could join."
Yes, your request was rather urgent.
It was.
What is the issue? What is our status? Are we over the planet?
We have arrived in high orbit over Ostuar, and the ship is currently undergoing repairs. We will, unfortunately, be stuck here for some time, as I need to replenish my crew and fix up the oath.
How many of them perished?
I'd rather not say.
And I'm gonna nod my head and do the sign of the Aquila and just say, the Emperor will guide them.
Indeed he will. However, this is not the reason I asked you to join me. Please, have a seat.
With all the laying down that I've been doing recently, I'd rather stand.
He holds up the palm of his hand and says, "As you wish." So, you were there with Thalia, were you not?
Yes.
You saw the horrors we had to contend with?
Unfortunately, yes, and her ill action almost got her killed.
Indeed, and that is why I have you. I wish for Thalia to stay on the oath while I transport you about. It seems untoward of me to ask you, but I have no authority with which to command you.
It's been out of character, it's been a few months since her pregnancy, right?
No, it's been only a few weeks.
Alright, good enough. It's been a few weeks since she's announced her pregnancy. This bodes
Indeed.
ill for me.
Well, I'm sure that having a pregnant acolyte on your in your retinue must be somewhat hampering, which is why I would offer myself as a replacement.
And at that, I'm just gonna give him a cocky smile. No. Though your skills are mighty, you lack the abilities that I need. Polonia's role was that of suppression and long-range support. I need somebody in your crew that matches that description.
At this, there's a slight hint of recognition in Aristide's eyes, and he says, "Fine. Thalia for Morino."
And at that, Rosalina's gonna almost, like, if you want to roll for him, for scrutiny, you can. Because I kind of want to, I'm basing this all on the scrutiny.
Fair enough, but you can roll an opposed with willpower against it.
No, this is fine. I just want to see if he spots it.
Fair enough, fair enough. Let's see. Scrutiny against fellowship scrutiny is actually not that high. Oh, he doesn't spot it.
Morna is an Eldar Ranger, is she not?
She is. She is a sanctioned Xenos. And even though she is not legally allowed to exit into the wider Imperium, only to stay aboard my ship, she is, as you said, talented in certain ways, and I'm sure she'll be able to skirt the legality of the situation.
Yes, she has told me personally of all of her adventures with you.
Well, not to brag, but she has come in handy more often than I can.
What is your relationship with her?
She is a sanctioned Xenos. She is a member of my crew. She is a valuable asset.
I'm not asking that. How did you come into her?
Do you want to rephrase that?
No, I want to say it just like that.
God damn it.
That is the proper way of asking that question. Also, it's funny.
Phrasing. Fair enough. Well, it was rather the opposite. She approached me and offered her services in exchange for transport.
And now you're pawning her off to me in exchange for the woman you love.
Well, more of a loan, wouldn't you say, until Thalia is fit to return to you?
Do you want her to return to me?
At this, Aristide has a look of uncertainty on his face.
Actually,
and
I want to roll scrutiny on this one. Yeah, here we go. Boop. Yeah, Rosalina scrutiny. So
well, I won't give you anything extra from that. All you see is a look of uncertainty on his face. He, after a short moment of contemplation, Aristide replies with, "I'm afraid that is not up to me. Unless you or your master releases her from service, then I'm afraid I can only stretch the limits of your kindness."
And at that, I'm going to give him another cocky smile. Well, with all of this... With this manner... With this, hang on, let me rephrase that. With the incident that just happened, it would seem that I'm going to need an acolyte here for quite some time, wouldn't you say so? One to study the crew, go through all of their medical records. This could take years.
At this, Aristide chuckles a bit and says, "Well, yes, while I do have my own crew and Medicaid, I'm sure they wouldn't be amiss if they got a helping hand," and there's a slight smirk pulling on the edge of his lips.
And while I'm out of an acolyte, Marino will stay in my service, is that correct?
Of course, that would be the nature of our deal, if we do in fact agree upon it.
But there is one thing that I cannot factor in.
Which is?
Marna doesn't fall under my jurisdiction. Also, I don't know if she would want to join me.
Well, that's not up to her. She falls under my command, and If I say it be so, then she will follow you.
Are you certain of that?
Indeed.
What of late do you know about your Eldar, Morano?
What is there to know? She experienced the same wanderlust that so many young Eldar do, and she set off to see the universe. If you are insinuating that she has some ulterior motive, then, as long as they do not damage me, my dynasty, or my ship, she is more than welcome.
Call Polonia into this room.
Of course, I'll have her summoned forthwith. And with that, he holds his hand up to his mouth and talks into the microbead embedded in his sleeve and says, "Actually, I need to real quick. I forgot the man's name. It's the seneschal I was talking about earlier. Let me find it just real quick. I know it's in the Forgotten Gods book because he's mentioned in one of the scenes, which is... where is it? Here it is, Dinner with the Lord Captain. Where is...
I mean, you could just make up a name. It doesn't matter.
I could... found him. Gyvius Helm. I'm gonna type down. There we go. And it says, "Gyvius, I need you to summon Polonia for me." And you hear a slight crackle.
What do you mean, Thalia?
Well,
Ha!
if he's being official, then he would refer to her, like two subordinates. He would refer to her as Polonia, Dr. Polonia. To closer acquaintances, he would refer to her as Thalia, and anyone within the warband. So, meanwhile, back in the archives, where Thalia and Tarvok are still conversing, the Seneschal Helm shows up, and you hear a knock on the door.
Knock, knock. Open up the door. It's real.
To avoid non-stop pop-up and stainless steel, I'm going to look through the camera I have set up at the other side of the door.
Indeed. And you see the gaunt figure of Seneschal Helm standing on the other side.
Kind of on the other side of the door, a murky, kind of staticky voice says, "Yes, what do you want?"
Well, first, I would appreciate it if access to the archives were not limited to the owners of this ship.
And second?
Secondly, I have summons for Thalia. I was curious if she was here. She was not in the Medicaid ward.
With that, the door opens, and he is met with a barrage of sounds, sights, and smells. Probably not enough to induce sensory overload, but there's quite a lot going on here. Rats scurrying around the room.
It's literally a nightclub in New York City.
The force field generator kind of making a barrier across the room, and Tarvok is sitting there with Polonia, sipping from their cup.
Ah. Dr. Polonia, your fiancé wishes to speak with you.
I'll take one last sip of my water and stand and look over at Tarvok, and I suppose I should go answer this.
With that, he will nod and look a bit and smile and say, "Go. Be with your lover. Enjoy. Make it a story worthy of a fairy tale."
I'll smile at you, a little amused, and say, right. And I'll put down the water and I'll walk off with the Voidsman.
Oh, and Seneschal,
Yeah.
your first request has been denied.
Hmm.
Please submit a duplicate in accordance to Adeptus Ministorum Guidelines number 1-B37912XW12.
Go and give
The
it to
only
you.
thing, the only thing that I'm gonna slightly correct is the administratum. Yeah, I know. The ministorum sounds so similar.
Ministorum, Ministratum, Unitorum.
Yeah, it's all a bureaucratic
Militorum.
mess.
You know what? Just because, with my request,
Yeah. So, the seneschal actually gives you a slight nod before exiting.
and as you leave, the door shuts, and you hear the shrieking of a rat as it hits the force field generator.
So, Thalia is escorted by Seneschal Helm back to Aristide's stateroom, where she finds Rosalina and Aristide waiting for her.
Before Aristide has a chance to speak, I'm gonna look at Thalia with a slight, not a smile, but like more like a stern look. Thalia,
Yes.
I'm reassigning you.
Or raise an eyebrow.
You are to no longer accompany me into the battlefield. Instead, I need you to go through the medical records of every single personnel on this ship, one at a time, including every single new one that aboards this ship. As you know, this task may take you years.
Yeah, if I'm lucky, it will take me years and not decades. Is there a reason for this?
There is no reason whatsoever. This is your assignment. The damage caused by the incursion recently has led the ship to be tainted. Though, because of this, I cannot personally go through each and every medical record, as that is not my forte. Me and the captain here have spoken, and you will work with him personally in order to do this mission. Is that agreeable? And with that, at the very end of that, I give you a slight and cocky smile.
I'll pick up on it and say, I think I understand, Rosalina. And though it may take me decades to fully search the medical logs of every crewman, I assure you, I will make sure to scan every single one to make sure that nothing is leaked through.
Now, this does include past and present, so it might take you even longer than that.
That is true. It could take me quite a while.
And while in his service and his care, if I were to so need this ship, I'm sure the captain here wouldn't mind. Is that correct?
Of course not. Even though the current arrangement with your lord and master, I am sure we can make some side agreements.
Then we have an accord.
Indeed. And shall we seal this little arrangement with a nice glass of Amazon?
Before that, Marno, what do you think of this whole thing?
I don't think Moreno had been established in that room yet.
No, I'm assuming she is.
Fair enough. I didn't mention it before, but let's say that she was in the room, that she got here before Thalia did. So, Moreno looks over and says, I am I'm actually not sure how she would feel about this. Man, aliens are so strange. Let's see. I am overjoyed, and you don't actually you get a feeling that she's using that word wrong, but then
Oh,
again,
just like you do.
But then again, Low Gothic has never been Morino's top spot. And she says, I will be able to, well, sneak around the human planets even more than I did.
Polonia, your spot on the team will be replaced by Morino.
I understand. I'm gonna look over at Aristide and smile, and then conceal the smile and look back at Rosaline.
Now, that amasect you were saying.
Indeed. Just a moment, and Aristide walks over to a crystal cabinet and opens it up to pull out only 3 glasses. It seems that Morino has made it perfectly clear in the past that she doesn't actually like the taste of amasec. And after filling the 3 glasses, the Lord Captain proposes a toast. 2 agreeable arrangements.
Yes, of course.
Clink, clink, clink. And with that, the amasec is downed. He only puts like in a slight, like a tiny little
It's a shot.
fill at the bottom. Yeah, for all intents and purposes, yes. So, with that, for the audience who is currently viewing, Mope, the somnolent, known to some, is now going to take over Morino as an NPC for an undecided amount of time, but it's probably not permanent.
It's permanent. Anyway,
Is it?
as Rosalina leaves the captain's chambers, I did want to do something.
Alright.
I'm gonna go on my comms feed, go to a private channel just for Larician. Larician, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
I require your counsel.
On what?
Not what, but who.
Very well. I assume you're still in the Apothecarium? What is it, Medicaid Act?
Medicaid ward.
Medicaid ward.
Meet me in the combat cages.
Are you well enough?
We will see.
I would advise against it, but then again, who am I to speak? I shall meet you there.
And after a little bit, I'm assuming we get there.
Indeed. You arrive at just about the same time, and...
Oh, can I just retcon one thing?
Go ahead.
Can I toss Marino a microbead?
Sure.
Alright, that's going to be the only difference before Rosalina walks out.
Mope, please put microbead into... what's it called? Into, Morino's...
Inventory?
Yes, there we go.
And I will Finnick, I being Morino now, will Finnick with the strange device for a few moments, having to have Rosalina like indicate how I'm supposed to put it in proper.
Indeed. Morino at first puts the wrong end in and needs to be instructed on how to properly place a microbead.
I'll move her hair aside gently while rubbing the back of her head. Just, I know what I'm doing.
Oh, for no reason at all. Nothing that has to do with a microbead.
And then put the microbead in and switch it to our comms channel. And then tell her 2 clicks switches to me privately. 1 click is the warband in its entirety.
It's so strange to operate something manually.
If you need, you can contact me telepathically. And I'm going to whisper that into her ear.
She'll whisper back, that would be preferable.
And that's when I'm going to leave.
And yes, back to the sparring cages. As you enter the sparring cages, the usual hum of combat of sparring servitors and the flashing and clicking of blades is somewhat less than usual, as the casualties taken during the actually, does anyone have a name for that thing, like that event? I don't actually know what to call it. I'm like thinking the silver screen incident.
The Silver
I'm
Twilight?
Sounds too pretentious, but I'll take it. During the Silver Twilight, the casualties were quite substantial, and the effort to throw back the demonic onslaught took its toll. And the sparring cages, well, they should be refilled in the coming days once the crew has been replenished.
So I'm going to assume I spot Larician with ease. Because
Actually, that depends entirely if he's hiding or not.
Oh, damn it.
What was that? Sorry, it cut out.
Alexis was assuming that she spots Larician with ease, but again, that depends whether or not he's hiding or wants to be seen.
Yeah, no, she would spot him relatively easily.
Indeed, as he stands there in his immaculate...
He's actually not wearing his coat.
What? What is going on? What does he wear under his coat? I don't think I've ever had to imagine that.
It's like suspenders, a hat. Yes, he only wears suspenders and a hat.
God damn it.
That's it. The suspenders are connected to a belt.
He's got a banana hammock too.
No, yeah.
I was thinking like shirt and vest, maybe.
Well, no, it's... Okay, think 1920s British brawling.
Oh, damn. Okay, so
Okay.
like white shirt that has the sleeves rolled up.
Yeah.
And suspenders. Does he have a different hat though?
He has no hat.
Ah, no hat on.
See, so
Well,
I do
let's
have
go.
the better hat. Anyway, I'm gonna look at Larician. I'm gonna look at Larician and just be like, thank you for meeting me here. Shall we begin?
Oh, well, of course.
And
Push.
I'm gonna put down my 2 swords and pick up one of the practice swords. And toss you the other one real quick.
And he'll grab it. Actually, should I make a test for that, or is it just... Yeah.
No test needed. It's easy enough.
Okay. And then, yeah, just grabs it and kind of flicks it to the side real quick, just to test its weight, more or less. So, what is it you want to do? Well, have my counsel on.
Well, the first thing I'm gonna do is strike you.
Oh, that was quick. However, before you strike him, are you setting up the roll?
Oh, it's
you
just,
setting-
I'm just using weapon skill.
Yeah, -10.
Is it -10?
Check your conditions below your wounds.
Oh, am I still hurt? How long was that for?
That actually wasn't for that long. It was for 18 hours.
Okay, so I miss, but there's a blade that just passes by your face.
Alexis, that's willpower, not weapons.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah.
Is my weapon skill higher? Oh, it's 51. So yeah, it's 1 less, so it misses.
Ooh.
Okay.
Alright, so blade right by your face in typical stabbing motion.
Alright, and he's actually going to take backstep and take up a more defensive posture.
It would appear,
Then,
and I'm going to pull the sword back, that Polonia will no longer be joining us.
I'm assuming that's because of the pregnancy then?
It's your turn to strike.
No, he's not striking. He's taking
Oh,
up
just defensive. Alright. And in that case, Rosalina's going to swing with a minus 30. Because it's minus 20 for defensive stance, right?
Believe so?
Leave it to Rosalina.
Yeah. So...
It
Okay,
may
dodged.
be... It may be because of that. But I feel that there's something more. She wanted this. And are you still taking defensive?
Yeah, he's going to remain on the defense until there's a hit that can... So...
Alright.
Okay, misses. And then once more... Actually, now he's going to take a few hopping steps back, like pushing off with his forward foot. He's more or less in a Spanish saber stand. He is crossing his body.
Where Rosalina stands like a French duelist.
And actually, no, it wouldn't be Spanish, it would be Austin that he'd have his time. So, yeah. Anyway, details. But yeah, he would take those steps back. And and assumably what would that imply? Like, to be close to a fiancé or
And with
something
that,
more?
Rosalina is going to do a feint.
Very
So
well.
I'm still getting a minus 10 for this. And then do I roll the weapon skill for trying to strike? Victor?
Yeah. So,
Victor.
he said he stepped away for a second.
Okay, well I'm just going to roll the weapon skill test then. Nope, I miss. Presumably, yes. But I feel that she has an alternative motive even to that.
And in what exactly would you say that could be as...
I keep rolling
Fine.
willpower, by the way. Because I'm so used to
Yes.
clicking that.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, you know your target.
Yeah, it's 51.
Yeah.
No, 41. I think something scared her.
Well, I would assume as she departed, she...
And with that, I'm going straight for your head with the blade.
And he's going... Was that a feint, or is it just a straight-up normal strike?
Straight up normal.
Okay. It connects.
So you're going to get hit along the side of your face by a dull blade. So it's just going to hurt.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm going to pull the sword back. Your left side is still cloudy, isn't it?
Still adjusting, yes.
And I'm assuming you're like holding the spot that I hit you where it's bleeding.
He wouldn't hold it, but you would see his face kind of crinkle towards it. Like he was, yeah, like a wince, but not entirely.
Now, when she was fighting, I overheard something she said.
Not
Well, not something she said, something she felt. It's strange, these powers. I can... Oh, you struck me?
Yeah, he was going. He was more or less going for cross.
Ooh. She takes a step back and actually gets hit. And she's gonna try to like scrape the sword away from her chest. Alright, that was good. But with the I've seen the way she acts when she's in combat. She's no coward, but something else has her scared. She's not afraid for herself. She's afraid for him. For her child. And I'm saying him meaning Aristide and the child meaning the child.
Yeah, I mean, to him, he would have just immediately assumed that, because he knows nothing of medical technology, so he would just assume that the child has already been identified. Because so yeah, he's going to assume that you mean the child. Yeah, once more, he's taking a defensive posture, and...
Boop. Nope, she misses. So, with that, Rosalina's going to say, and because of all of that, because of the way she's been acting, she's no longer suitable to be an acolyte. I reassigned her, and I'm going to start swinging again, but it's your turn to swing back at her.
Sorry, you cut out. What was that?
Essentially, she's saying, due to her fear of losing her family, she's no longer suitable for the acolyte role, and thus she's been reassigned.
Isn't standard procedure in that situation either mind control or simple mind wipe?
A mind wipe and decommissioning would be appropriate in this situation, and she's just going to roll away in a rather strange motion. Like, she's actually going to roll with the blade as it just barely misses her. If you want to roll Forbidden Lore, well, Eldar, you could memorize, you can notice this move.
Yeah. Would he get a...
I would give a +10 to that.
You go +10. I mean,
well,
it didn't help.
Yeah.
Do you want to re-roll it?
Sure.
Just
Why
because
not?
this is
Why
cool.
not? Slaanesh demands.
Let's see.
So it was a little bit too quick, but you do catch like a glint of what she just did.
Yeah. Also, it lacked all the normal finesse that an Eldari would be able to pull it off with, but yeah. Mostly due to the stiffness, though.
Yes.
Yeah. So, keep going. I need to quickly interject. It is almost the sacred dinner time for me, so I will be like hopping away for like 15 minutes. But I hope you'll be able to play nicely while I'm gone.
Well, just hop away for 5 minutes, grab your plate, and come back up, you boy.
No, we have barbecue. And I'm not gonna like sit and eat barbecue in front of my computer. That's disgusting.
Oh, fair enough.
I can't touch anything.
Boyko!
What?
Anyway.
United. What was that?
Anyway, back to the scene.
Back to the scene.
Well, with her gone, then who's going to take on Spot, or are we just a woman down?
Alma's a bit too injured. He must protect her. And we need to take... And with that, as soon as she finishes that sentence, she's going to strike once again.
Okay. He is going to try to dodge. Does so. And how long until she is off the ship?
Years.
Or is she...
I won't take the risk of trying to mind wipe a psyker. And her skills are too considerable for simple destruction. Also, I've grown to like her over the years.
Emotional connection is often the downfall of an empire. Always remember.
Yes, I am well aware of that. You're not going to like what I have to say next. You can take your turn to strike her, if you want.
No, if I don't say anything, just assume it's a departure after I comment.
So she's going to miss? Marno has agreed to take her place.
Roll scrutiny.
Alexis, that was for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say
Nubel
roll
was
scrutiny.
Nubel was asking you to roll scrutiny.
Hey! You have to
You
roll.
did it.
Yeah, you're gonna see a visible.
Well, you can do a willpower test to resist.
It's actually not, in this case, it wouldn't be a willpower because he's not like trying to hold back emotion. He's actually, this would be an opposed deceive with fellowship.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna say if she passes.
Fair enough. So you won't oppose it then.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
there's not really much point, and he wouldn't really do it in this moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, on that you'd see a visible like, not a big one, but a twitch, like his sword moves and his guard would fall. So you would definitely see an opening at that. Marina, that I
Shields is still missed.
Kind of
Whoop, go ahead, Newbold.
oh. And that his voice will drop just so that only the two of them could hear. Is this because of your... And then he's just going to make an incline of his head before lunging.
What? No! And she's gonna try to... Actually, you know what? I know you missed, but I'm still gonna roll a dodge just for this. So that I can get some ground. Nope, she's gonna stumble for a second. And hit the side of the cage and catch onto it for a second and pull herself back to her feet.
Huh?
No, not at all.
One
Wait,
for one.
what are you implying?
Oh. My dear, you know exactly what I'm implying, your little anatomy lessons, And yeah.
And at that, Rosalina's gonna throw, like, almost unceremonially, like, actually slash with the sword.
Huh. He's gonna try to dodge. Yup.
Nailed it.
And as he lands, again, because he would have hopped back, but he's just gonna have a really cocky grin. Well, then upon whose suggestion is it? And at that, he's going to feint. And a feint check is a willpower?
No, feint is an opposed weapon skill.
Okay, so mine's 41. So I got a 29 on that case. Sorry, we did it wrong last time. But I
That
actually
is
win.
equal. That is actually equal degrees of success, and through equal, we go to the weapon skill bonus, which Alexis technically has higher. However, Noble, if you wish to spend a fate point, you can get an extra degree and technically win.
I am not going to spend a fate point, by the way.
Neither am I. It's
Aww.
not that. You know what? Sure, why not?
With your embarrassment of riches and fate points, why not?
So with
So
that, you're going to parry... Wait, did you parry or dodge?
It was,
No, it was
he
a
was
feint.
feinting. Yes,
Yeah,
so
it
which
was a
means
feint.
which means all he has to do is now hit in order to strike a hit.
Yeah, and he's not swinging with the blade this time. He's swinging with a fist.
Ooh.
I want to re-roll that. I want to re-roll that.
Go ahead. It's
Bad decision time. This is gonna fight me later, but oh,
ouch.
Oh, I'm going to roll a dodge.
You
Just
can't.
to-
He feinted you.
Oh, you're right. So I'm just going to, like, go to block the blade and then see your hand coming and just be like, crap.
Slap.
And just, like, slightly angle the sword towards it so you pull away. What's between me and Marino? That is not your concern.
oh,
So
this
there
is-
is something.
yeah.
Wait, is that what you're actually saying?
Sorry, I interjected. Noble, go ahead.
Oh. No, he would just kind of incline his head a little bit. Or is there? No. Or is it?
And I'm actually going to roll a deceive really quickly. Just to mask my emotions.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a scrutiny, but I don't think it's even possible for me to do that without a 1.
Actually, hold
You
on.
get 5. Rosalina has 4. Well, 5.
No, wait. No, it's 4 and... Wait, that's... no, Rosalina has 5, Lorisian has 4. Because it's the difference between the 10s plus 1. So it is 5 and 4. You catch the hint... actually, with having rolled so well and having come so close to actually matching and beating it, I will say that Lorisian, he doesn't see what Rosalina is hiding. He merely catches the fact that Rosalina is indeed hiding the fact.
Okay.
And what do you think
Sorry,
of this? Will you play nice with the Eldar?
Also play nice with the Eldar. What kind of question is that? I've always played nice with the Eldar. Unless they fight fair.
And while you're actually saying that sentence, you just see another sword slash going straight for your head.
Oh boy. He's gonna try and dodge again. Yeah, there it goes. And he's going to respond with a slash of his own. Of all the people in the party, am I really the one you need to worry? Of all the people in the war band, am I really the one you need to worry about not playing nice with the Eldar? And he's going to... Yeah, he's going to go for the gut again. Okay.
And Rosalina's just gonna... I want to gain some ground, so I'm gonna roll dodge. Boop. Beep. And Rosalina's gonna just do a flip backwards. Again, if you want to roll like Eldari,
Yeah,
go for it.
That time, you actually made it.
It's still
Right.
very stiff and not like fluid, but...
Indeed. The move, or rather the technique itself, Lorisian has noted before in the fact that he has seen Morino in the practice cages before.
Well, there's a little bit more to it, but yeah.
Well, yeah,
I'm
I'm not going to give away more than that, but I
Yeah.
am going to say that's the explanation.
And that you're going to see just the biggest crap-eating grin across his face. That you slime minx. You have been practicing with her, haven't you? And copying her.
Not copying, improving.
Mm-hmm.
Though, I will admit, and with that, you're gonna see her just put the sword back into the sheath where she dodged back to. Almost as if the whole thing was planned. But it clearly wasn't, because she actually like kind of misses it.
Mm-hmm.
Not practicing. Well, and at that she's gonna catch herself. But, no. Just learning their techniques so that I can better my own against them if I were to ever meet them in combat.
And that's why you incorporate it into your own fighting style. You have such a well-rounded relationship with the resident ranger officers.
And at that, you're gonna see Rosalina like bite her lip a little bit and just turn away and just be like, it's complicated.
Oh, believe me, I can imagine.
And with that, she's gonna pick up Lioness and just look at Sacrifice. And put the one sword back and just go to grab the other one slowly.
I'm gonna say that he reaches out with his left hand to put it on her shoulder, but he's just gonna kind of miss, and his hand's just gonna kind of just like go to the side. His eye.
And I'm just gonna look at you like, kind of smiling but not really. Kind of like worried about you.
Still adjusting, don't worry. But well, if you need to talk to anybody about incorporating the Eldar style into your own, well, I've been doing it for... How old am I? It's just gonna kind of, he's gonna kind of go blank for a second as he tries to think.
Regardless, I assume you're going to keep our conversation of absolute secrecy, of course.
Man, I actually realized just how much mental math nobility in the Imperium has to do to figure out how old they are.
Yes.
Because it's not actually that simple.
Now, we're above the Shrine World. Let's get Taya and get the warband together and head down. Oh yeah, and do me a favor.
Yeah.
Do not, under any circumstance, tell these women that I am a psyker.
I'll be right back.
They'll hurt me, so to say.
Oh, that's what you're concerned about. I wouldn't say anything, you know. Also, although I do want to raise a concern, are you sure it's wise to take an elder onto the shrine?
Marno is skilled at hiding, and I do need somebody to watch my back on the off chance that something happens. Though Shrine Worlds are not attacked often, there is still the possibility of rioting, looting, and the occasional trying to murder us.
Yes, but from what I understand, aren't Shrine Worlds locked up tighter than the Croxes we're in? When it comes to surveillance.
Normally, yes, but Marno's exceptional skills might keep her safe. She has assured me of that. Now,
Very well.
I have to meet up with Tarvok about something really quickly. Meet me in the hangar bay in a couple of hours.
I will. And as he's walking away, he's just going to call out over his shoulder, "You never told me to keep it in my pants." And then he's just going to bolt off as best as he can. And you will hear him cackling as he goes.
Jeez. Tarvok.
I'm guessing this over the comm bead.
Yep.
With that, you hear in the background a lot of mechanical works, but he quickly replies, "Yes, Rosalina, I'm at your service."
I require your assistance with something.
Of course.
Bionic seems a bit heavier than usual. Might be fatigue. I want you to check it out.
Of course, I'll prepare some supplies while I'm in the archives as of right now.
Very well. I will meet you down there.
And as you approach the archives door, it is immediately open for you, and you gaze upon a very interesting sight. Tarvok standing in front of a handful of pillars lined up across the room, crackling fields of energy.
Oh, and at this point, Rosalina does have her bolt pistol on her side.
And as you walk in, Tarvok waves to you and says, "Rosalina, shoot me."
One second. Very well. And she pulls out her bolt pistol really quickly and fires it at you. Also, that's a headshot, by the way.
And with that, it bypasses the original, the force field, and causes his other one to go. Tarvok's personal force field crackles with energy as
The bolt explodes against it.
as the bolt is kind of disintegrated against it. And with that, he says, "You didn't wait for me to give you an instruction on where to shoot."
No, you said shoot. I did. I trust that your technology will protect you, if not the Omnissiah's blessings. I would assume that I was correct.
Indeed it has. And with that, he smiles and says, kind of points to his newest contraption. Although not practical to deploy in normal circumstances, this Magnus pattern force wall generator will be able to let us fortify a position with very minimal effort.
Shouldn't this be around the captain's quarters, then?
It's actually a piece. It's portable, and with that, he kind of shows, just takes one of the pillars and dismantles it into a carryable size. It's for field use.
How many of these can you manufacture with the equipment you have on board this ship?
He's actually wasn't able to manufacture them, but I was able to acquire them. I have about 6 pillars.
So that's 6 zones you can protect?
Yes, and he kind of shows that as one gets connected, how they kind of connect to each other. Interesting thing about it, he kind of turns off one, but everything that's not connected to that one is still working fine.
Can you put these around the main entrance to the captain's quarters? Well, the ship's the deck, the main deck. I'm trying to say the spot where Aristide is actually piloting the ship, which I can't remember what it's actually called.
Bridge.
Yeah, the bridge. Can you put this around the main hallway leading into the bridge? That way they have some sort of safety net prior to any other incursion happening.
I can see about getting a hold of some more to do this task.
Are these coming with us?
Some of them are.
Might I request that the other ones that do not come with us go to that single location? As you may or may not be aware of, Thalia, has been reassigned to working on the ship.
I'm sorry, what?
Under my orders, Thalia Polonia will no longer be accompanying us. Instead, I require that she goes through the entire medical journals, the medical history of every single person aboard this ship, past and present. With the recent incursion, I see this as absolute. I cannot allow corruption to spread. Also, it allows me to protect her. Now, I request that you get 2 of these things to protect her.
Tarvok removes... You hear the kind of steam rise from his mouth as he removes the respirator that normally covers his face. And his face is quite blatantly heartbroken and a mix of emotion. And he kind of scratches his chin. But, Rosalina, what happens if we're in the field and we sustain damage? She was our only medical professional.
We will have to compensate.
But she was our friend. But we need her.
We have
surely.
no friends. We are instruments of the Emperor's will and nothing more. And at that, if you roll scrutiny, you can actually see that Rosalina is lying.
Let's roll it. Actually, I have scrutiny, funny enough. Unfortunately, Tarvok's a bit too flustered to pay much attention to it. He actually trusts you wholeheartedly.
Rosalina's gonna walk up to him.
Alright.
Tarvok, I have to protect her. If I couldn't protect my own family, I will make damn sure that I will protect hers. Putting her into the field in this condition is tantamount to suicide.
So, and you actually see in his good eye a tear is slowly streaking its way down, and he looks at it and says, "So, we're down to 3 then."
Yes, Amma has also been reassigned to protecting her. But we do have a 4th.
He kind of just his mind jumps to different candidates. The head of security on the ship, perhaps?
No.
Then whom?
Morno will be joining us.
Morino. You're serious, aren't you?
The Xenos? And I'm going to stop when I say Xenos. Morno has exceptional skills in the field. She's an Eldar Ranger, an expert in camouflage, concealment, espionage, as well as having one of the most deadly sniper rifles in the entire Imperium. Well, that the Imperium has ever faced. Her skills are exceptional. Better than that of anybody aboard this ship. Excluding us, of course.
Alright. But this is unorthodox.
It is beyond unorthodox.
But, so... She will be with her husband, right?
More than likely, yes. I'd assume that she would stay close to him.
But, I guess it's not goodbye then.
Tarvok, how is your skill at Medicae?
With this, he kind of wipes his cheek and kind of straightens up and kind of returns to his normal professional stance. My skills could use some improving, although I've been keeping notes of during my assistance of Thalia in the years I've worked with her, so I'm sure I could improve once with just some time and more research.
Perhaps. I have an alternative idea.
Oh?
I'm going to requisition a Hospitaller from the world. There's a sister covenant on this world, more than likely. I'd assume that you've already researched into this.
Yes, and that I have several questions regarding this endeavor.
Yes, all of which I will answer. Now, the real thing is, we need to get a Hospitaller. Unfortunately, they are non-combatants, so she will have to be protected, but having her with us is paramount to our survival.
But if we have a Hospitaller in our service, are you worried that your preternatural abilities will come to the forefront as he kind of grits his teeth?
Even if they do, the Sister Hospitallers are not part of the Sisters of Battle. They do not share the same dogmatic views of the Sisterhood. Though the Sisters are formidable warriors, expert fighters, and zealots, one and all, the Hospitallers are not. Well, most are, but we'll see. Under the order of the Inquisition, I think we can grab one and be perfectly fine. After all, we are dropping off a living saint down to them. They should be more than grateful.
I suppose so. But if Morno is truly joining the warband, my concern of heading into a den of zealots with an Xenos, a psychically active Xenos, and a Psyker, Inquisition or no, gives me concern.
Morno has assured me that her abilities would keep her hidden, even in the most plain of sight. She's rather good at that.
I suppose so.
Besides, having somebody covering us from long distance that nobody knows about has always been useful for us.
So Tarvok's kind of looking at you, kind of trying to read you, and kind of get a feeling of how, when you speak of Morano, does your expressions change at all?
You can tell that she's trying to I'm not going to hide this. You can tell that she's mostly trying to talk to convince herself. But at the same time, you can see a level of trust with Morano.
And with that, he'll take a cigar from his pouch and light it. Curiouser and curiouser.
Now, about the maintenance on my leg.
Yes, you see that he actually has his workbench kind of set up to where kind of like almost like a shoe sign stand.
The one thing is, she does have living flesh over it, so you do have to cut that away for a moment.
Indeed. And he will... Now, someone answer me this if I can. Does the skin feel?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like scar tissue. It doesn't have a lot of feeling.
Right. Tarvok will apply numbing agents to it to kind of make sure that it numbs the pain at least, and he will slowly kind of peel off the skin until the cybernetics have revealed themselves, and he kind of keeps an eye on your facial expressions to make sure that you are remaining steadfast. What would that be, like an endurance test? Toughness test?
Let's do a toughness. Rosalina doesn't even flinch.
He gazes upon the leg, and upon seeing that it is indeed needing maintenance, his utility mechadendrite kind of gets to work, and as he kind of starts working on it, he looks at you and says, "Rosalina, are you okay?"
What is your meaning behind that?
You were dead. I saw your vitals flatline.
Well... And with that, you're going to see Rosalina almost look dumbfounded. I don't know how to explain it. I saw the demon reaching his hand into me. Well, actually, I'm not going to say demon. I saw that monstrosity reach its hand inside me. And everything started getting cold. Dark. But I felt the warmth. And then a burning. Then I took a breath again. It was almost an instant. I doubt that I actually died. But this is the Emperor's blessing. And she's gonna reach to this scar on her chest. Where it's actually big. It is rather big.
Right. And he will kind of give it a closer once over. Those creatures, you actually handled it quite well. And with this, as he kind of looks at the leg, he kind of has a splash of inspiration. Rosalina, if you'd like, I have an idea. Underneath the layer of sense skin on this leg, I could inscribe a hexagrammic ward that might protect you and remain a little hidden surprise should we face those creatures again.
Yes, please.
And with that, he will begin working on that. I'm gonna need Victor's what's it called? Approval on that.
Yep.
But he will try his best to kind of carve into it. And with that, and you see the giant claw on his back kind of reach down and stab into your leg, the bionic part of the leg, and you see fluids kind of going through the tubes and inserting, kind of filling into your leg.
Oh, lovely. Am I ever going to get used to this?
With that, he kind of looks up at you and his eye changes to green. He says, "If you learn the lessons and the prayers, perhaps."
Very
I
well.
could- He kind of closes his eyes. Interesting. So many changes. Even curiouser after what we just been through.
The Emperor protects Tarvok.
And you hear him look at you. He looks at you and says, "The will of the Emperor is done. As the blood of the slain is laid upon you, so may you lay the enemy's blood at the feet of the Emperor. Lay blood at the Emperor's feet. As the rune of protection is inscribed upon you, so may the litanies of protection ward your soul. May your soul be guarded from impurity. As the warrior is within you guide your weapons, may you in turn guide their lives. Stand true against the trials of war.
Ave Imperator.
Ave Deus Machina."
And with that, Rosalina's gonna look at her leg, feel it a bit, and then get her war gear back on. I'll be in my room if you need me.
And with that, he smiles and says, and before you go, a final question.
Yes.
How is Riza doing?
I have expected something different. But she is completely fine. I was relieved.
He nods. More questions for later. But for now, there's work to be done.
Of course.
Ever so do we toil. Oh, and if anyone asks you, Rosalina, tell them I said, no, the archives are mine.
Very well, Tarvok. And with that, Rosalina's gonna open the door and leave the scene.
Before you actually leave, can you roll a awareness test?
Okay. Nope.
Tarvok's cries of anguish go unknown.
Anybody else have anything?
No.
I'll make a general stealth check.
Yeah, plus like 30 because of Eldar.
Oh yeah, I have to check out all her stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
She has a nat like 100 for her stealth.
How tall is Morno?
She's like 6'5".
Sounds right.
She is much taller than Rosalina. Like Rosalina in heels comes up to like her nose.
She's actually taller than Tarvok before the leg augmentation.
Yep. Which is why that I love that her model that I use is taller than Rosalina. It fits perfectly. So, does Larisian want to talk to Thalia before we head out?
No, not really. He doesn't really know her that much, so...
That is fair.
You want to come down to Tarvok's magical funland?
Sure.
All I know is you guys gotta be entertaining for a second because I'll be right back after into the bathroom.
Okay. Larisian, as you enter the archives, Tarvok is again standing in front of the force field generator. This time, you notice at the table to your side, there is just a regular stub pistol, or what's called auto pistol there. He says, "Oh, Larisian, good to see you. Could you do me a favor?"
And what might that be? And as he said, he's just going to kind of be looking around the room a little bit confused at everything.
I need you to take that pistol and fire it at.
And he's just going to look at you like just heavy lids, just like... He's not going to say anything, but the expression on his face is like, are you sure?
He kind of motions towards the pistol, learning his lesson from last time.
Okay, he's going to go and pick up the pistol. He's just going to kind of point and, yeah, shoot.
Just regular ballistic skill should work, or ballistic, just fire a gun.
Oh, okay. I didn't think I had to fire, roll.
No, this is important because of hit location. 21. That hits the... That's actually one of the spots that's cut. Ooh, the force field does not go off. Because it goes off on like a 65.
Oh, wow. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, the force field wall.
Yeah.
However, my force field, again, catches the bullet. And with this, as the kind of bullet gets mutilated in his own personal force field, he's like, damn, another failed test. He kind of starts working on the pillars again. But, come in. Testing out this new piece of war gear I acquired for the party.
What exactly is it?
A Magnus pattern force wall generator.
In Gothic?
Should cover. It is a deployable wall.
Yeah.
Or it was. Although I think I was thinking about taking it down to the planet with us, but I think I'm going to take some advice of Rosalina and place the entire contraption on the Rogue Trader's deck to assist them should another incident happen. But
How exactly?
no, go ahead.
How exactly do they work? Why do I need to shoot you? Why can't you just throw something at it?
Oh, because you can. I doubt our enemies will be throwing bananas and fruit at us.
Well, yes, but you could also try one of your little... He's just going to kind of make a running motion with his hands. What are they, the vermin?
Yes, my scout vermin and what have you. And at this point, one of them kind of is sitting on your...
You say it's sitting on my shoulder?
You know, your shoe.
Oh, sorry, he cut out. All I heard was a So I thought you said shoulder. I was concerned. He's gonna just look down at it and kind of just scoot his boot to get it off of him. Trying to get it off of him. Well.
So, I'm assuming you've heard the news as well.
Yes, and I gotta say, I don't know how I feel about it. At least, yeah. Of course, I don't know Polonia or Thalia. I don't know why we always call her Polonia. But anyway, that's not the point. Oh, then again, we always call you Tava. Anyway,
Well,
point. And as he does that, you notice a rather frazzled expression on his face.
what's wrong? What's going on?
Yeah. Nothing really. Just a little...
Damn. Would you like some coffee, cigar,
I would definitely take a coffee.
or recap? I'm sorry.
Same difference.
Yeah, with this, you see a small box rumble on his side and a mug. He opens up a little hatch and pulls out a hot mug of recap.
How are you faring, Darmok? On the whole, all in all? As a... whatever you are?
My augmentations are holding up well. My mental state is currently dilapidating. I'm going to need to I'll require more augmentation to my cerebral areas. However, Eldar. Would that hill look up to you? Not something I expected when I woke up this morning.
I'll just say neither did I. Especially taking an Eldar onto a shrine world of all places.
Well, in these circumstances, we must trust Rosalina in her judgment and leadership, I suppose.
It would seem that way, yes. But, still, a worry. Matt, discovery, more than anything in that regard. I mean, I would rather not get chased by a bunch of large, angry women with bolt weapons. Doesn't sound like a good way to spend my day, unless...
I am so sorry about that.
Yes, my experiences with the Adeptus Sororitas have been negative in most connotations. But I do believe that with our current authority plus our cargo, we should be able to make this through quite easily. I'm actually interested to see a shrine world. Thauer was such an interesting experience. I hope to collect some trinkets and more knowledge from this place.
How was Thauer? I heard there was an incident with some weird air.
Yes, and with this he'll pull out his data pad and kind of scroll over to that section. Yes, the air for those at most of the party caused them to act as under some kind of translucent state, as if one was horribly drunk or have ingested fungi.
And what does your... And he's just gonna kind of gesture grandly at you. Your science bits tell you about that. Like, what could that have been?
Victor, can I pull out my data from Thauer?
Yes, you can, and with your enhanced cogitation abilities, you haven't actually pondered this problem for a while now, and if you were able to put some more cogitation power into it, you might be able to find some new perspective or result. So, roll for me. Just roll for me a scholastic lore test, because I can't actually reveal to you what you're trying to figure out. There you go.
Thanks,
So,
Lana.
I am smirt.
Smirt. SMRT. So, with that, with all of the data that Tarvak had collected from the sampling that he had taken to the descriptions of the effect, and the biology of Thauer, you are in fact able to put 2 and 2 together and realize that the gaseous byproduct that the entire town of... actually forget what the town was called.
But the entire town, just go ahead.
The entire town was seemed to be inhaling the gaseous byproduct of the... I actually need to look this up because I forget what the creatures are called. Here
Oh
they
god,
are.
they were inhaling frog farts.
Not
I think the
frog
drug
farts.
was slot.
No, it wasn't. Slot is like speed. They wouldn't have been that mellow. Here we go. Ah, found it. You were partially correct, Mope. You just had the wrong drug up. So, the town of Afterlife, which I just found again, you are able to put 2 and 2 together and realize that the gaseous byproduct of a native creature of Thauer called a corpse crawler, which made zombies, kinda, but then again, there's 1,001 way to make zombies in 40k. And the byproduct of the corpse crawler reproduction cycle, which is also the core component of a drug known as Mind Shade, was leaking into the atmosphere around it, and you come to the conclusion that there must have been a corpse crawler nest buried beneath the village of Afterlife, causing the villagers their slovenly blight.
Yay!
Tarvok is able to hold in his lunch, but as he describes this, and he says, "Let us talk about something else quickly."
Over
Yes,
the
that's-
over the comms, you hear Rosalina saying, "Everyone make ready for planetfall. I'm heading towards the Basilica."
And with that, Tarvok will grab his pistols from the table and cock them mildly.
Lorisian will look at this, and he will on reflex drop both of his bolt pistols into the safe.
And with that, he'll kind of, in a high five motion, kind of like offer his pistol to you, like almost like a pistol high.
Yeah, and he'll clink them.
I'm gonna go
Let's
on closed circuit comms really quickly to Marno and just say, "Marno, meet us down by the shuttle." And I'm gonna give her the exact coordinates to where our private launch bay is. You're gonna look for a large box-designed aircraft, one called an Aquila lander. Not an Aquila lander. What's my personal one?
The Arvis Lighter.
Arvis Lighter.
It's a flying brick.
She'll respond over the comm bead and say, "Oh, I figured I could just follow you."
And I'm just gonna like look behind me for a second and just be like,
So wait, how does this work now with Morna? Because she was like, okay, the chameleon cloak only works if she stays still, right?
No, the Chameleon Cloak gives you a +20 to all stealth tests, but if you stay still, as in lying down, you get I think it's a -20 to hit you.
To shoot you, I believe.
Okay, and I got +2 degrees of success on
Oh.
that.
To be hit. There we go. Yes. There's well, you can just randomly roll stealth test mode if you just want to not be seen.
Yeah, I just did, and I got 9 degrees.
Yeah. So?
yep, Rosalina's just gonna be like, tricky. And she's gonna head towards the Basilica.
It's trick to rock around this side of town. It's tricky.
Anyway, I get to the
So.
Basilica. What do I see, Victor?
Well, you see the usual sight, boom, of the Basilica itself. However, unlike that day when you first saw it, it was not as crowded with, it is no longer as crowded with pilgrims as it once was, as the pilgrimage route that Aristide used to fly is, well, no longer in operation. However, you see scattered about the few worshippers inside the basilica on one of the middle pews, one of the centralized pews, you see Taya sitting. You give a...
Is she in the
slight-
damn power armor?
No, you give a...
Taya, get the damn power armor!
Get
You
the
feel a
robot!
you feel a sharp pang of disappointment and frustration as Taya is not in the damn power armor. She seems to be sitting down, her head bowed, her hands clasped in silent prayer.
At this point, I'm gonna assume that I stopped at my room and actually got all of my war gear, so I actually have the melta-gun and the flame above me. Though it's not
Yes.
lit right now.
Huh, so lit.
Anyway, I'm gonna look down towards her. Saint Taya, we're departing soon.
Oh, we're here. I'm sorry, it's so hard to tell the time, or where we are, and she looks around. I've never traveled on one of these.
You will get used to it. And I'm going to offer my hand.
And she takes it and rises up. You see a renewed strength in her eyes as she looks you up and down and noting all of the various lethal bits of weapons on you.
Saint Hea.
Could you, not mention the saint bit so loudly?
Very
It's-
well.
I don't know, it doesn't feel right, even though all of that took place. And she drifts off silently.
Very well, Taya. Where is your power armor?
Oh, and you see her face blush red as she covers her mouth with her hand and says, I'm a bit embarrassed to say.
You didn't lose
Uh,
it, did you?
No, I have it still. It's back in my chambers that the Lord Captain gave to me. She leans in close to make sure that she can whisper as silently as she can, and she says, It starts to stink. I get nervous when I wear that thing, and it reminds me of the fire and people shouting, and it reminds me of home. And when I'm nervous, I sweat a lot.
This is unfortunate. You don't have a body glove, do you?
A what?
Body glove. They regulate the temperatures of your body. It would prevent a lot of this while simultaneously cleaning your body. Here.
Oh,
You're no bigger than me, so come with me.
all right.
And I'm just gonna hold her hand and just pull her through everywhere, get back to my chambers, activate the ruins and open the door. And Riza is going to be sitting on the bed again with the boombox. And Longing and Runner are still there as well, my two servo skulls.
Beep poop.
Here, sit on the bed for a moment. I'll fetch you
She-
something.
You see Taya sitting on the bed, but you see her sitting as far away as she can from Riza.
And I'm gonna look and just be like, oh, don't be shy. Riza's my daughter. And I'm gonna gesture over to Riza.
At this, Taya's eyes go wide, but she doesn't say anything.
She suffered from a disease.
Is she? And she's Taya seems unable to finish the question as she catches glances over at Riza, but she doesn't seem comfortable looking at her.
Alive? Was that what you were gonna say?
No, I didn't mean. No, I was just asking if. Is she cured?
No. What happened to her? It only prolonged the process.
I'm sorry for you.
And I'm just
Please,
gonna look back
if-
to her.
If you'll accept my sympathy, I will gladly share it.
One day I hope to find the actual cure.
There was one thing that I wanted to talk to you about, but I didn't want to do it in the Basilica.
What is that?
It's all those murals that I've seen, the frescoes in the Basilica itself. they show, well, his angels, be they of death or fire, but they all look so heroic, so grand, so majestic. They soar on wings of fire and brandish their weapons. I wanted to ask you if there is a weapon that I could have. I don't know if it exists or not.
And at that, I'm going to crack a smile. A weapon suiting for a farm girl. Is that what you're looking for?
Yes, I was, funnily enough, I was wondering if I could have something bigger than this, and she actually pulls out her sickle, which she's been carrying ever since she left Nova Bella. Do you have something bigger than this? Maybe something more visible?
I swear the Emperor has driven you to me on purpose. Yes, I in fact have a power scythe. It's a little bit taller than me.
Oh, that's, the Emperor provides, I guess.
That he does. Ave Imperator.
Ave Imperator.
And with that, I'm gonna tap my comm bead really quickly. Tarvok.
You hear the slurping of him sipping his mug, and he says, "Oh yes, Rosalina."
Before we depart, I need what's in the stasis vault.
The scythe?
Yes. It would appear our saint would like a weapon that suits her personality. I can think of none more perfect.
The idea of one of his creations being immortalized in the like murals and what have you puts a bright smile on his face, and he makes his way to the armor.
Now, Tarvok will be here probably in about 10, 15 minutes. Let's get you sized up really quickly. What is a color that you like? This won't be seen above your armor, but...
She looks down at her freshly cleaned light brown robes and says, do they have this? And she gestures her hands at her robe.
And I'm going to take out like 3 morph suits. No, not red. A dark black is always perfect. I have this one. It's a very light tan. And I'm going to show it to her.
She puts her hand near the body glove and says, this is awfully close to my skin color. Won't I look a bit, exposed?
And at that, Rosalina's face is going to drop a little bit. I never thought about that. And she's going to put it back and then look for a darker one.
I'll just take the black one. It's probably for the best.
Very well. And with it, she'll pass the rather expensive body glove over to Taya.
And Taya trots off to the lavatorium to get changed. Oh, that word is so dumb, and I'm still gonna keep using it.
Anyway,
so
after about 10 minutes, I'm assuming Tarvok shows up.
Yeah, it's been 10 minutes now. You keep hearing you hear muffled expletives coming from the lavatorium and a lot of squeaking sounds, but Tarvok shows up and he has the scythe with him.
I'm just gonna open up the door look at it and just be like, is that it, Tarvok?
With a kind of a lavish twirl, he kind of spins it and kind of holds the blade where it's like curved over your head and says, "Yes, it is. It's been checked 14 times for imperfections." And he actually shows the, you notice that on the bottom it actually has, on the pommel, it's the Lockwood family crest kind of weighing it, and he kind of holds it in the center on one finger to show that even in it with its size, it is perfectly balanced.
As all things should be.
Of course.
Anyway.
And he looks at it and says, a work of Boltavarius Tarvok.
Hold on.
Marked with the sigil.
Here we go. I just needed to change the scene. Keep going.
The fabrication work of Boltavarius Tarvok and the family crest of Rosalind Lockwood, now held in the hands of an anointed saint.
Who is
Strange.
currently getting stuck in her morph suit in the bathroom. In the lavatorium.
At this point, Tarvok looks at the weapon and has a quick, brief thought of taking it back. But he carries on and says,
They won't sing songs about this.
Let's just say the history books aren't going to remember this part. And I'm going to take
Yeah,
the
but-
weapon from him.
the history books will not remember this, but I am always recording.
Now, meet me down in
So-
the dropship in 15 minutes.
He bows and says, and with that, he's actually going to, while he's looking, he's going to look for more.
Well, that's
Actually,
happening.
might be difficult, more difficult than you think. So
Well,
while that's
well-
happening, and do you want to handle that now, Knight,
Yeah.
or
Well, it's his thing.
wow?
You're just cutting me off, you butt.
wow.
Anyway,
Let's continue then.
as she's still trying to get into the morph suit, I'm just going to knock on the door. Do you require assistance?
Hold on, just one more squeak. Ah, there we go. And with that, the lavatorium door unlocks as the locking rune turns green, and after a slight hiss and a sliding of the door, you see Taya standing in the black body glove. Well, it doesn't leave much to the imagination, and she almost seems ashamed of this. Can I have my robe back?
Of course. And I'm
And-
going to hand her the robe and just be
And she-
like, you
Go
know,
ahead.
you were the one that did this to me. And I'm going to pull down my shirt just a little bit, which also reveals the inquisitorial eye, and show her the big, massive scar tissue.
You know, she sees the top of it, but yeah. I'm sorry?
No, you saved me.
I don't think I did any of that. That was beyond me.
Regardless, it came from you. What you did for me, you will do for Imperial soldiers across for the next few 100 years.
You hear her audibly gulp.
You will save people. You will show them the Emperor's light. They will look to you for guidance. Trust in the Emperor.
This is all a bit much, don't you think?
You know, you're correct. It is. But the Emperor set us upon these paths that we must take. If only I had the foresight of bringing Riza with me when you did the healing. And I'm
Well-
gonna look like really hurt when I say that.
I didn't know. Well, no one knew.
It's alright.
Unle- if this is what the Emperor wills, then I will do it. And you see her striding forth with perhaps more confidence than she feels, but she sets forth out the door and heads towards her chambers, where she supposedly stashed her power armor.
I'm gonna follow for a moment.
All right. You arrive at Tea's room, and she walks inside. It seems very minimally lived in, but she seems to have put some extra decorations on the small personal shrine that each stateroom has. And
Allow me to
next
help
to
you into this armor.
next to the shrine is the armor stand. That's easy. Is the armor stand, which currently is gripping the pieces of the power armor. And she accepts gracefully the assistance to put it on.
How did you get out of this thing? And I'm just gonna tighten it up and get her back in.
I asked for help.
Well, the first time I got stuck in mine, that was rather embarrassing.
And once the armor has been fitted in place, she does a few stretches to make sure that everything is moving properly, and without putting the helmet on, rather holding it in the crook of her hand, she holds out her hand to accept the power scythe.
And with that, I'm actually gonna kneel before her and pass her the scythe.
Please don't do that. That's just awkward.
You're the
Are
most...
a lot of people going to do that?
Yes.
Oh no, Throne, help me.
And with that, I'm gonna hand her the power scythe. This thing was crafted by a master. He knows what he's doing. Trust in your war gear. Trust in the Emperor. Let him be your beacon.
I will. And she takes the scythe and gently places the pommel, I think it's called. It's not the... it is the pommel of the
Yeah,
hilt.
it is the pommel.
Yes. Gently placing it on the ground. And as Rosalina takes a few steps back to get a more complete look at the saint, she looks the part with her wings of metal behind her and the resplendent gold power armor and the, while rather uncommon power scythe. It fits. If ever there was a saint, then you're staring at it.
Perfect. Now, let's get moving.
All right. Actually, wait. Can you hold it for me? And she holds up the scythe again.
And I'm gonna take it.
I need to put the helmet on. And with a slight hiss and a click, the environment seal on the suit repressurizes, and she takes the scythe back. She actually looks resplendent in her power armor. Well, your power armor.
No, you're right. It's hers now.
Fair enough.
And at that, I'm gonna have this, smile and everything gazing upon a living saint, and then the realization that there goes so much money in war gear.
Really? That's what Rosaline is thinking right now.
There goes so much of my stuff! No, but jokes aside. I'm gonna lead her down towards the shuttle.
Indeed. Rosalina and Thea arrive in your secreted away hangar bay, and Rosalina, you can see the rest of your warband awaiting patiently for you.
Can I?
As you and Thea arrive. Actually, depends on which one of them are hiding or not. On Noble and Mope, are either of you hiding?
Oh, I'm hiding.
No, Larisian would probably be in the cockpit of the lander.
All right, Mope. Oh wait, Mope, did you add the extra plus 20 that Morino gets from her living ghost special
Oh
ability?
no, that's just the +2 degrees when I get a success, right?
Oh no. Oh wait, it is. The ranger scores extra 2 degrees on successful stealth tests. Never mind. Never mind.
I'm
Yeah,
just
it's
gonna...
not- But it's actually an extra 3 degrees because they have agility or a natural agility.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Jesus Christ.
It is rounded down. That's true. Man, Elder are so OP.
Anyway, I'm just gonna look around at the three other members. And then I'm gonna let out my Cynesians for a moment to sense if Morino's near.
Would you... Here's a question. Would you try and hide psychic essence with willpower?
I'd assume she wouldn't hide that from me since she knows what I feel like. Quite literally.
Huh. Mope, that's up to you if you want to try and oppose the Cynesians.
No, I would not oppose that.
Fair enough. Rosalina, you know that Morino is currently hiding in the shadow of the
Like, I know she's in the room somewhere.
yeah, what no wait, you can actually pinpoint her with those degrees. What's your ship again? I forget what the name of it. Oh, the Corvus. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Black Star. Yes. Rosalina, you know that she's hiding in the shadow of the Corvus Black Star.
Alright. Everybody get aboard the craft. And with that, I'm going to guide the Saint in and look at Larisian in the pilot seat. Larisian, can you take us down smoothly? Morino?
Oh, no.
And over the comm bead, I'm just going to say, Morino, I assume you're aboard the vessel?
Yes. I have come aboard.
Good. Let us go.
Larisian would, yeah.
Indeed. As you take off from the Oath Unspoken, you travel down to the surface of Ossuar. From space, you can see that it is a Pangea. With a large ocean surrounding a gigantic landmass. It is nearly split in half, but not quite. Landmass being slightly smaller than the engulfing ocean. And at the center of this gigantic landmass, you can see what appears to be a structure with the Gothic architecture that of the Imperium, which seems to be able to which you can spot from space, as this appears to be a mausoleum of some sort.
That thing would be massive.
When this description in the book says continent spanning, I'm willing to believe it.
Okay, yeah, because I was about to say, we can't even see Mount Everest from space.
Yeah, but let me actually find the specific...
Well,
description.
regardless, I'm going to look at Larisian and just be like, Larisian, you did request permission to land, correct?
I was doing that just now. He's gonna open the channel and yeah.
Very well.
Actually, while you're heading down, does Tarbok want to do his normal shtick where he spouts off a bunch of information about the planets you're going to?
Tarvok, spout a bunch of information about the planet we're going to.
Okay, before he does that, can Tarvok do a mental calculation of how much money that Saint is currently equipped with?
Yes,
No.
that's actually an evaluate test for a special use for commerce. The answer, a metric buttload.
My poor wallet.
Indeed. Now, as for this, let's see.
Roll for me, Common Lore, Ascalon Sector. Although I don't know if you have extra points in that. You really should max it out.
Ascalon? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, since, well, you're operating here.
Wow.
Really?
Oh, wait.
Fate reroll with the -10?
Yep. Or wow.
Really?
I'm gonna re-roll that just completely.
You can't.
Actually can't.
You can't
reroll
re-roll a
cannot-
re-roll.
Yeah,
Huh.
that is...
To be fair, I've never been on this planet before.
No, I'll...
Wait,
like,
wait, didn't I actually already passed the lore check for this planet, didn't I?
No.
I don't think you did. Not for this place.
The Shining Blade stuff?
Yeah, you passed. Yeah, you passed the test regarding like the convent that is here, but when it comes to like general stuff, I'll give you like without reading from the book, I'll give you like the tiniest bit of info.
You mean like what I would know from like the visitor's pamphlet?
Yeah, from the visitor's pamphlet, you would know that Osuar is much like Thaur. It is a place where unlike the buried masses that go to Thaur, to be either used for building material or currency, on Osuar, it was decreed some thousands of years ago that it be used as a resting place for the heroes of the Imperium, and only the most venerable and respected members of the Imperium are laid to rest here. So this is a bit more high-class situation than Thaur is.
Indeed, and he says, other information I'm not quite sure about. I would need to hopefully gain some tomes while I'm on there.
In fact, you find that your lack of general information regarding Osuar seems a bit troubling to you, as you usually have way more information regarding whichever planet you're going to.
Well, damn, son, just rub it in.
I will, won't I? So, as you break the atmosphere and fly across, you see an endless procession of cathedrals and macro statues as you fly across what seems to be endless processions. Let's see, I'll actually grab the proper description.
Holy cow.
Here we go. Osuar is spectacularly appointed with grand cathedrals, triumphal arches, colossal statues, gleaming bell towers, and 100 other splendors to celebrate the glory of the Emperor and Ascalon's saints. And yes, it is almost like driving through New York, where you can see a repeat of everything every 5 minutes. Actually, 1 minute. And except for delis and laundromats, it's cathedrals, mausoleums, statues, and shrines that seem to dot this planet. It is, unlike its more macabre counterpart of Thaur, this seems to be a more modern take on the Imperial Shrine world.
Oh, wow. And I'm assuming we see this from orbit.
Yes. Quick question. I actually forgot to ask this earlier, but did you announce that you were coming to the planetary authorities?
Yes.
Alrighty then.
Because that's what Nubel was doing while we were flying down.
I did say I was recording.
Well, what I meant more was, are you letting them know that you're hauling an Imperial Saint with you?
Yes.
Oh, goody. So, with that, the Larician, you receive landing coordinates and permission to land. near what appears to be a towering basilica, and it seems to be one of the more splendorous buildings, at least in this part of the continent. As you land, you see that a rather numerous congregation of priests and what appeared to be the planet's PDF. Actually, you know what? Scrap that. Actually, 2 full Battle Sister squads are standing near the off-ramp as they escort a gaggle of priests, being led by a figure that Rosalina, actually, all of you may recognize.
Oh, crap.
I need all of you to roll an intelligence test.
Oh, by the...
Oh, wait. Actually, don't mind that. Everyone except Morino, because Morino wouldn't be A, looking, and B, being visible.
I'm gonna look out the window, look down towards the figure walking towards the shrine itself, and I'm gonna be like, is that red and black Oh, no.
No, it's not. It's not who you think it is.
Okay, good.
The sisters are all wearing gold and white.
Okay, so it's just a canoness.
No, I know who he's talking about.
It's not who you think it is. Did you roll, babe?
Oh, I actually do need to roll? You said don't roll.
Roll intelligence. I was talking about Morino.
Oh, here we go. Boop! Got it.
No.
Tarbok got it.
Tarbok got it. As you are, as the landing ramp of the Arvis lighter, you probably should have taken something a bit more, classy. More deserving of a saint, but hey, details.
I will talk to them when I arrive and explain to them why I chose this craft, if and at possible needed. But before we land, I'm gonna look and just go on the closed circuit comms and just be like, Marno, stay hidden. Do not let any of these people see you.
Understood. I didn't plan to anyway.
Indeed. As Tarbok looks through one of the viewports on the Arvis lighter, he sees the greeting... wait, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, welcoming committee? There we go. He sees the welcoming committee being, as it moves towards the landing pad, and he, as he zooms in with his bionic eye, you are able to pull up a facial recognition scan of one Archcardinal Consig. Actually, let me get his full name. It is... Here it is.
Do we know who that is?
It's the guy Rosalind was talking to on Forley's.
Oh, crap. And with that,
Wait, on Forley's? What did I say to this guy?
Do you remember?
Somebody quickly inform me.
I remember you talked to him. I don't remember what you said. If I remember correctly, you were mentioning something about being from the Solium of the Lockwood family. I believe you also mentioned that you were funding churches or something like that on the planet. I could be wrong. That's what I remember.
Babe, inform me.
Why should I?
Because I'm gonna look like an idiot.
Yeah, anything you say can and will be used against you.
Literal months ago. Just give me a quick heads up on stuff.
Babe, it's fine. You were talking about how you were helping the Scala Progenium on Desolium, and that's about it.
Okay.
You also interjected yourself into a conversation between him and one of the high-ranking members of Fowler.
Ah, okay.
Tarvok will take this facial recognition and, use the zoom and then the hands to take a picture and send that picture to his his laptop and hand it to Rosalina and say, "Look familiar?"
Yes, he does. Okay. Not a big deal. How many Battle Sisters are we looking at? 2 full squads?
Victor?
Yes. Actually, it's not 2 full squads. It appears to be 2 minimal squads.
So 2 5-girl squads?
Yes.
Okay.
Not counting the Canoness.
Okay, so
Oh,
Canoness.
no.
Now, I assume this is a Canoness Superior and not a Canoness Lieutenant. You said something about the sisters only having 300 members on this planet?
Yes, he did.
Indeed, and he kind of nods, and with that, he actually motions to her and say, he'll motion to her and sister hand sign and say discontinued, and kind of in a questioning. Not a very. In other words, he's saying, do we need to like not do the hand signs on a planet where it will obviously be.
Let's not do the hand signs. Stick to closed circuit comms.
Tarvok will mutter in binary something about not like very much regretting everything right now.
Nah, it's fine. We'll just all talk in Eldari. We all know it.
No, I don't. I know about the Eldar. I can't speak Eldari. Anyway, I'm gonna look towards the warband and just say, okay, Larician, get them down a message about who we are and have them announce us. Except for Marno. Don't announce her.
As Inquisition proper, or as a survey team, the Adeptus Store.
Just our
Or the
names
job.
will suffice.
Very well. And Pure key the comms and set about doing that.
Indeed. The message is, you are... What's the word? I'm blanking again.
Announced.
You are... No, it's not announced. You are assured, there we go, that the message will be forwarded to the Archcardinal and his welcoming committee as the Arvis Lighter lands on the landing pad and the ramp opens up. Who's actually gonna go first? Because Taya is standing there and she's like looking for someone.
No,
to
it's
take the
me.
lead. Fair enough. So, as Rosalina leads the way, the rest of the warband follows suit. I'm gonna guess all of you are flanking Taya.
I am currently staying in the ship.
Fair enough. And as you arrive, as soon as you arrive before the Archcardinal, the sisters all snap to salute.
I'm gonna do the exact same salute right back to them from years of practice.
The Canoness noticeably does not, but once you do, she does salute you back. And with that, Archcardinal Consag speaks up and says, "Ah, Lady Lockwood, it is a pleasure to meet you again. Although I must admit that when last we met, it was rather unfortunate circumstances."
Yes. Always, isn't it? It seems that way, but I must... hang on, I want to rephrase that. Okay. Yes, it's been quite some time. I see that you've been very busy.
Indeed. The matters of the soul are an eternal concern.
That is a concern that we both share. And I would like to present to you Saint Taya.
Ah, and he looks over at Taya, who is currently still has her helmet on, and says, "Yes, so this is the saint that you spoke of beforehand. Well, I'm afraid I won't be able to call her by that just yet.
Of course.
Until she has been canonized, of course. We will hold an ecclesiastical council to make sure that no mistake is made on canonization. That will take a few days, but I'm sure that you will willing to take in the glorious sights of our fine world. I'm sure that you have that you could visit saints until the end of time, and you would not yet reach all of their shrines and burials mounds.
Now, as you can tell from my companions and I, we are a bit well armed. Will this pose a problem while wandering through your streets?
Of course not. Though, try not to agitate the pilgrims. They are a brittle lot.
Oh, I know the ways of the soul, and I know how to maneuver through them.
Ah, excellent. Excellent. Now, Mamselle Thea, if you would kindly remove your helm, and you see Thea start fidgeting with the helm with one hand, but she's seems to be clutching at the helmet seal a bit awkwardly.
Please forgive her. And I'm gonna goad him in a little bit. She's a bit shy.
Shy, you say? Not a trait to stir the masses, but I'm sure she'll settle in her new role.
Can I use my... Sorry.
Go ahead, Knight.
Oh, I was going to ask, can I use my utility mechadendrite to kind of reach over and kind of help her with her helmet?
Yes, you can. With a quick flick of the utility mechadendrite, you are able to undo the helmet seal, and Thea lifts it off with one hand. And you can see the black hair and piercing emerald green eyes unveil themselves before the congregation. And Archcardinal Consig makes the sign of the Aquila to Thea and says, "Ah, my dear, I am... let me be the first to welcome you to Ostuar, the seat of ecclesiarchal power in Escalon. If you won't mind, we would show you to your chambers where you will be staying for the duration. But I am sure that the faithful of Ostuar will be eager to see you once you have been thoroughly canonized." And you see Thea not say anything, but she does nod vigorously back.
You're in good hands, Thea.
Whoa.
Apparently phone hands.
Phone hands.
Anyway.
With that, the Archcardinal steps to the side and motions for Thea to walk with them. And as the congregation of priests and cardinals move off the landing pad, the sisters, the two sister squads, snap quick, do an about face and march alongside the priests. Only the canoness stays behind, and after she watches the group depart from the landing ramp, she looks back towards you, her single red bionic eye glaring intently at you, and she says, "And who exactly do you work for?"
And I'm gonna take a step towards her. Do I need to roll awareness for her war gear, or is it obvious?
It is obvious to you.
What does she have on her?
Power sword, Godwin DS pattern bolt pistol, and you catch the look of a Rosarius.
I'm gonna look at her and just go, "What is your name, Canoness Superior?"
I am Canoness Leona. I lead the convent of the Order of the Shining Blade.
I am Rosalina Lockwood of the Ordo Hereticus.
Ah, now it makes sense.
And with that, I'm gonna take out the rosette just a little tiny bit to reveal the eye. I assume you can keep that between us.
You see her bionic eye. You hear the whirring of optics as She gazes intently upon the rosette and says, "Yes, the members, the witch hunters of the Emperor's most holy Inquisition are no strangers to me."
I do have a request for you when you have the time.
Speak it, and I may be able to grant it.
Do you have any Ordo Hospitalis on this world? Any attached to your convent?
Yes, there are. We have 10 of them.
Would you mind if I requisitioned one? We took some casualties.
That will be mine to decide, but I am loath to let one of my Hospitallers go.
I understand. And I'm gonna hold my arm out to shake hers.
She actually grabs she grabs your wrist and shakes it from there.
Yep, that's what I figured. It is a pleasure to meet you, Canoness.
And a pleasure to meet you as well. Please walk softly and carry a big gun.
Always. And with that, I'm gonna turn...
She leans in closer and says, "Is there anything specific you're investigating?"
And I'm just gonna look back at her. And I'm gonna say, as of right now, there's no investigation on this world. Don't make me have a reason for one.
Of course not. No.
Hey. And I'm just gonna say
Okay.
back to her, I assume you have all of this under control.
We are few and far between, but the spiritual needs and protection of this world are well taken care of.
If you need any, I do have connections with the Order of our Martyred Lady.
We do not. Our convent is a successor of the Ebon Chalice, but I have met my sisters of the Martyred Lady at one point or another.
Needless to say, their tactics are a little bit more brutal, but they're efficient. And at that, I'm
Of course.
gonna rub the wound on my neck from Ren Roseless.
Like unconsciously, or subconsciously, rather?
Yes.
Fair enough. She says, "Of course, they uphold the memory of, damn it?
Saint
What is the
Sabat.
first sisters? No, not Sabat.
Oh.
Dominica, what's her name?
Something Dominica.
Alicia, there we go.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. They uphold the memory of Alicia Dominica better than any of our order."
Yes. Now, let us get going. I must keep up with my warband.
They're actually all behind you.
Oh, I assumed that they were walking ahead of us and we were talking behind them.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Actually,
that's what you said.
Well, I said that the Canoness was the only one who didn't leave. I didn't actually put any pressure... I didn't actually move any of the players.
Oh, I assumed everybody was walking.
Does anyone mind them walking behind the priests and sister squads?
Aside from Marno, of course.
I assume I'd still be within hearing distance. I'm still an elf.
Larician is on the ship, I believe.
No,
Marno is
I-
also hiding.
I said yeah. No, I am. I'm aboard the ship.
And Tarvok would be following Taya just to make sure just to kind of keep close to her and to keep that way in case you need to communicate with her. I can pass on word.
Fair enough. So it's only actually one of them has moved ahead. So you actually meant so by your warband you mean Tarbok. Fair enough. So with that, the Canoness walks with you the rest of the way. Not the rest of the way. She walks the way the others were going. Although she doesn't say anything as as she walks beside you.
I'm also going to marvel at how silent her suit actually is.
It
'Cause
is.
Sister battle suits are actually quiet.
That
Oh,
is
neat.
true.
Yep.
The servos usually don't whir as much because they're not as powerful as for instance, the Space Marine armor.
And they're not as
Space.
clunky as regular power armor.
Yeah. Nupal, you had a question?
Oh, I was just gonna ask that doesn't Space Marine armor typically growl because of the power supply in
It
it?
usually does. I think the only ones that don't is the modified Corvus armor that the Raven Guard uses, but that's about it. Anyway, with that, you set off. With that, Rosalina sets off into the streets of Ossawar, and with that, we'll continue next time.
Woo! Rosalina didn't die.
Indeed. However, you all handed off a possible saint. Everyone gets 3 influence.
Yay!
Woo!
Even Marno.
Oh.
Actually, hold on. Mope, I'm going to roll for me.
Can we give it to Thalia instead?
Yeah, I wouldn't see why not.
I mean, actually, yeah. Let's whatever influence Morino gets, just pawn that off to Thalia.
Yay.
That just simplifies it.
I like it.
Alrighty, so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Queen's Court. We are now on a sister shrine world, which what evilness can be happening here? There's quite a lot, actually. So, I want to thank everybody for watching and listening. As always, I'm Egoqueenalexis. I love you guys. Bye.